Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back again to what I guess is still technically the worst year of our lives, even though it's just the worst year of my life. Thanks for coming back again. As you may see by the title of this episode, there is an emergency apology happening, as well as me calling you all greedy pigs for a very specific reason, and I'll explain that in a second. My apology is that last week I completely fumbled the bag because I didn't talk about Oreo Coke. And I remembered almost immediately after I had uploaded it to YouTube. Because, as well established, my brains are bad. So I knew about the Coke Oreo. I had seen other people talk about it. I thought I should do it myself. And I gotta say, it's pretty good. Now, pretty good in the sense that it doesn't have an overpowering, overwhelming Oreo taste. It does subtly taste like there's a cookie thing to it. Does it specifically taste like Oreo? I don't think so. But it does have a kind of cookie taste to it, but it's not overpowering. Now, that being said, I don't know if I ever need to drink another one, or if I do, it'll be in a couple months when I forget if it's good or not. But I don't think it'll make it into the regular rotation of drinks. Now, what I've heard from a friend of myself, friend of real life and not friend of the podcast, Dan, that there are Coke flavored Oreos that apparently are outstanding. That they have Pop Rocks in them, and it gives you that fizz of like a Coke, and the taste is really good, and I'm very much looking forward to trying those. I went and checked a couple Walmarts here on the weekend, and I didn't find any, so maybe they haven't made their way up to Canada yet, but when they do, I am very much looking forward to having those Coke-flavored Oreos. Now, I'm going to quickly start off here by the ceremonial popping of the too late in the evening energy drink that's going to prevent me from sleeping well tonight. I've gone back to the Monster Punch Papillon, French for butterfly, and I'll crack that now. However, it is not the first drink I will be trying. The first drink I will be trying, as I was alerted to by friend of the pod and friend of real life Eve, that the new Mountain Dew Voodoo mystery flavor is out. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it in Canada, because you never know what comes up here. However, I walked into the gas station on my way home to get myself the aforementioned Monster Punched Papillon that I shouldn't be drinking at 6:30 at night on a work night, and noticed they had a giant display of Mountain Dew Voodoos. So I thought there's no better time than the time I'm recording a podcast a day early, because I have plans tomorrow and can't do it. So I've heard this is maybe one of the best ones. Now, I haven't had every one. I believe Scott and I had done several years of them, but we had not done every single flavor. But I've heard that this might be the best one. So I don't know anything about it. I didn't look up the flavors in advance or what people potentially think it is. So I'm just going to pop her and take a sip. I love it. Everybody loves the ASMR, and now they're going to love the drinking noises. Ooh, it smells like lemonade. It might be the best one. It's definitely got a citrusy taste to it. It almost tastes like, I don't know if these are just a Canadian thing. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me. Rockets. They're like little cylindrical, essentially sugar, like they're little cylindrical sugar things. I think they're made of the same, like they taste very similar to Fun Dip, when you were a kid or even as a grown adult. Fun Dip, the literally stick that you lick to put in sugar to lick sugar off. Um, I think maybe rockets are the same thing that the stick for that for it is made of, or maybe it's very similar. But yeah, I'm definitely getting rockets flavor out of this, or like nope, there is an American equivalent, but it's not popping into my brain. Sweet tarts, maybe sweet tarts. That's maybe I'm get rockets out of your brain. If you were thinking rockets, it's not rockets. I think it's sweet tarts. It's very good. I do actually think it might be the best voodoo I've had. Um, Now the real question is, do I finish this or do I drink the energy drink that I've already opened? Crap. I think it's going to be the energy drink, and I'm going to save the Mountain Dew for a rainy day. Um, Bottoms up at too late at night. So as you may see, and I called you all pigs earlier because you're all greedy pigs. Um, I'm doing this. It's a little bit shorter, but I promise you, hey, quiet down. I promise you it's worth it. I've been talking about what the podcast is going to be, what I'm going to do, and you're going to get the first episode of something later this week. I had plans to try and do it today, but the thing I was doing became a little bit too big, and I didn't have fully enough time to actually finish it. So it's going to be a second episode this week for you greedy pigs, because I want to do it properly. I don't want to rush it, because I could have done it tonight, but it was not in the final stages. It was not prepared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this on the normal day, which is Wednesday. Luckily for me, I have a couple of extra days off work during the week this week, because I get to go to beautiful Reno, Nevada on Sunday and work my ass off at a thing I don't want to do. And I won't have time to do an episode next week, but I want to give you a full, actual, proper episode this week so that you can be excited and built up for the next one, assuming it's good. So it will be a story I've written. It was an idea I had several years ago after I graduated film school. And I had a lot of time on my hands to write, but not enough time on my hands to commit to trying to make it as a movie. And these ideas have been sitting on my computer for years. And at this point in time, I don't feel like it's actually going to be something I pursue. But I want these stories to be out there. I want people to hear them. So I've been writing this story from sort of more of a synopsis or a concept that I had written, because I was planning on writing it into a full script. And instead, I've been taking that and stretching it out into a full story. And I'll be reading that as the whole episode. And I have a name for the podcast idea, but you're going to have to wait for the big reveal on the next episode. I'm going to record it on Thursday. I'm going to release it on Friday. And then you won't get another episode again until the following Wednesday like normal. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That'll be the plan. And then I've discussed with friend of myself and not friend of the podcast, Kelly Summers, who is also, he's definitely also a very creative person who writes stories and has his own ideas, and has written many things in the past for himself. And he would like to also write some stories and also read those stories as a podcast. So we are going to do some of those as well. And I know I had said previously that the next episode would feature my friend Greg Sage, but when we got everything, by the time we got together and all of our plans and everything, I think both of us were too tired to actually record, but he will be recording one the next time he's up. We've already got made that a plan and have an idea. So we are going to do that, and I will end this episode. Well, very quickly, I will say you can follow me on social media. It's in the links in the description. Twitter, Instagram, Twitch.tv, this YouTube channel that you're listening things to, Letterboxd. And if you feel like you want to help support me with all of this business and the things I'm going to go do forward with this, paypal.me/SarenSoftpaws. I feel weird about asking for money, but if you would like to give me some money, I wouldn't say no. And also, do it for Scott. Scott would want you to give me your money. Absolutely. And if you love Scott, you give me your money. And if you don't give me money, I'll know where you stand. So, when my friend Greg came up, he had requested two things. One was to go watch the UFC pay-per-view on Saturday, which we did. And I don't know the last time I actually went and watched a live pay-per-view, but it was fine. I used to be really into it when I was, in my, from my old enough to go to bars at 19 to maybe almost 30. And then I just kind of dropped off with it. And he's an accomplished, trained, kickboxer, and he's done Muay Thai, and he's done professional fighting, or he's trained professional fighters, and he works at an MMA gym in the States. And we went. The fights were fine. I mean, it was more about the hanging out than it was the fights, but it was entertaining enough. And I kind of was like, oh yeah, I still like MMA. I just don't love it like I used to. And it was a fun time. We had a couple other friends show up that weren't supposed to come just because they wanted to see Greg, and so we all got to hang out at a local pub near my house, and it was really fun. And the other thing he had requested was that we go see Joker 2 Electric Boogaloo. And so on Saturday morning, we went to a 12:30 showing in a theater with 9 people total of what I can only describe as a bad movie. This movie was atrocious. And I know anybody who's listened to The Worst Year of Our Lives in the past knows how much I hate musicals. Hate them. Oh, I hate them. But this time, it wasn't actually the fact that it was a musical. And let me preface by saying musical because they had Lady Gaga, and you can't have her in a movie without making her sing a bunch of scenes, even if they don't matter or make any sense to the story. You gotta have her sing. So I'll start off with the good, because I don't want to just always shit on everything and be miserable and hate things. So, visually speaking, it was a really nice looking movie. I really liked, oh, my phone. I really liked the cinematography, like the lighting and some of the camera movement, and a lot of the shot selection. There was a lot of very interesting. This is going to be a little too film nerdy for some people, but it was a really, a lot of choices of visuals where Arthur is not in he's not fully in the center of the screen. He's not in focus. There's not necessarily Dutch angles, but disjointed camera. And where lines aren't straight, lines are kind of everywhere. There's a lot of use of foreground, and then a lot of use of blurry background, and the visual choices that were made, I thought were actually really good. I don't know if it's necessarily the directing was amazing, because I'll get to that. But I thought, who did the cinematography? Lawrence Sher. Do I know anything else you've done, Lawrence Sher? You have done cinematography on Black Adam. Oh, boy. Oh, you guys are... Anything that's good? Joker, Godzilla King of the Monsters, War Dogs, The Hangover Part 3, The Dictator. Finally, a movie that's The Big Year. If you haven't seen 2011's The Big Year, Owen Wilson, Steve Martin, and Jack Black, go watch it. It is a very enjoyable film. It's about bird watching, but also, comedy and politics and stuff. Hangover Part 2, God forbid he only do 3, Due Date, The Hangover. So essentially what I'm saying is he cinematographed a bunch of garbage and then learned how to do nice things for Joker 2. Although Joker 1's not bad, visually speaking. So yeah, I thought that was really well done. I thought some of the supporting cast were good. I mean, I will never say a bad thing about Brendan Gleeson ever, because he is legitimately one of my top 3, if not my number one favorite actor. I just love everything he does. Catherine Keener was really good. I loved the random cameo appearance by Steve Coogan. That was really good. The little person who plays Gary Puddles was pretty awesome. Like, his performance, even though it was very small, was really, really good. So like there were some pieces around the main cast that were really good, because the main cast were terrible. I like Lady Gaga's music for the most part. I listen to some of it every now and then. So I think she is a talented singer, and I think she has gotten a lot of, like, just a bad rap of sometimes in her life. But like, I don't know that she's a good actress. I really feel like she's carried quite a bit by the fact that she's famous and she can sing. And if I'm looking at this story, I don't really want to give spoilers, even though I thought it was a bad movie, because I still want people who might think it's a good movie to go watch it. I don't want to go and shit all over it and just tell you the ending, because it's brand new. But if you're, let's say, hypothetically speaking, before you even see the movie, if this movie is going to get, if there's going to be a third movie, possibly a fourth movie, you never know with like the comic book movies. But in theory, if you're doing a third movie, is Lady Gaga good enough of an actress to actually carry on the, I guess this is a spoiler, but it's not, the Harley Quinn character, and be some form of actual Harley Quinn? Or is it, or like, and if she's not, are you just going to plan on making the third one also partially a musical so that she fits in? Like, I think that's the thing for me, is that the casting was very much like, the script called for, no, sorry, I'm saying that in the wrong order. I feel very much so that the script was written for the fact that they had gotten Lady Gaga. That they were like, we have Lady Gaga, we can't have her in this movie unless she does a bunch of fucking singing, no matter how important or irrelevant it is to whatever's happening. And that's the focal point. So I guess it's a musical. Not, we're writing a musical of Joker and we should cast somebody who can sing, and hopefully they can act, or like they can act and hopefully they can sing. I very much felt sitting through this movie that it was entirely a focal point of, hey, we got Lady Gaga to do this movie. Like, that's genuinely what I felt about it, because I understand the reasoning behind having the musical aspect, and all of the musical scenes are very much when Arthur Fleck is like dealing with a major emotional climax or moment, that it's sort of showing his delusions of his delusions of life, but also just like internally how he's dealing with it, and you're sort of seeing that as the song parts, which is fine. But like, a ton of them are just like they're just Lady Gaga performances with somebody else who is a bad singer singing with her. And then, yeah, there's a couple like okay comedy, little comedic things that they do. They do like a Sonny and Cher show kind of spoof that's got a tiny bit, like a little bit of comedy in it, which was pretty good. But it just very much felt like, hey, here's a Lady Gaga movie and also the Joker's in it. So, I felt like it was a crutch they were using to, like, I don't know. And then Joaquin Phoenix, as much as I like him, and I do like him in like most movies he's in, and actually like I like him in a lot of the movies he made in the like between like 2008 and 2014 when he wasn't really famous anymore and he started taking a lot more risks as far as like what roles and like what choices he made. Let me see if I can I can think of a couple, but I want to name the ones that are really good. Because obviously he did Her, right? In 2013, and that was like kind of his big resurgence back into like, oh, maybe he is a really good actor. I mean, I love him in Signs. I think he's a really nice piece in that movie. I know Scott and I had arguments over the 2014 Paul Thomas Anderson Inherent Vice, but like I thought he was really good in Inherent Vice. He was playing a much different character than I expected him to. Sisters Brothers was really good. I know it's a little bit later than what I said. That was 2018, but I thought he was really good in that. Then there's 2013's The Immigrant. There's 2008's Two Lovers, which he's really good in. So yeah, like I really liked him in those like roles before he kind of got back into being like a Hollywood guy. Although, I mean, I don't know if he's really that much of a Hollywood guy. He doesn't do a lot because he's kind of a weirdo. But yeah, like so like I like him. He shouldn't be singing in a movie, even if that's part of the character. Like even if it's a delusional thing, like where he as the character is like in this loving world, happy world where he's singing, he sounds horrible. And it was every time he came on to sing, I was just like, oh, we're doing another one of these, like another duet where Lady Gaga is like, and yes, I'm aware I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. That's how I pronounce it because it's funny. But Lady Gaga is like singing like normal, and then you have this like horrible voice come in, and you're like, like can we just move this along? Not to mention the fact the movie's like 2 hours and almost 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Like I know I've harped on this forever on this podcast, if anybody listens, but like movies do not need to be 2 hours and 20 minutes long. And if they're going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes long, you have to give me moments that are going to build up in anticipation and excitement and intrigue, instead of just like, well, we couldn't cut this because this needed to be here for this reason. And then because later on, like, I feel like that's a lot of what major filmmaking is now, is that as much as like those directors have visions and ideas and whatever, and they've filmed all this stuff and they're like, well, we can't cut that. We spent $20,000 on that one shot. We can't cut it. But it's a lot of just like, they've got so many little pieces that they're like, well, real movie fans are going to see this and they'll want to know like that they can go back and watch it. There's this little Easter egg, and it's like, no, this movie genuinely could have had 30 minutes cut out of it, and it would have been the exact same movie. You cut out a couple of those songs and a couple of just like staring at the wall moments, or like a bunch of the courtroom stuff. You could cut out a bunch of that and it would be the exact same movie, and it would have been way shorter. So yeah, luckily for this movie and for Joaquin Phoenix, he will forever, but he will forever not be the worst person to sing in a movie. Luckily for him, there's always Russell Crowe in Les Mis and Ryan Gosling in La La Land. Yeah, he was horrible in that, and I hated that movie. Anyways, is there any? I mean, I like the set design. I like the layout and look of Arkham. I thought it was really cool, like how the inside looked. But yeah, like the leads were bad at acting, and it was too long, and the songs were just like very, very like, I'm like, again, we're doing another one. Like it just kept droning on, and it felt like 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like, it was not like moving at a good pace at all. And then they introduce Harvey Dent, but like it's some no-name actor that I think they in theory are trying to like make a thing, but he was so like subdued and irrelevant to the story. Like, he's the main prosecutor of Joker's trial, but you literally could have named him John Smith and it wouldn't have mattered. Nothing about him being Harvey Dent had any major role in moving the plot forward or in the story. It was just like, hey, we should get Harvey Dent in there. So there's a lot of just like pieces that just don't even really work. And I didn't really enjoy anything. Like some of it I was like less unhappy about, but for the most part it was just like a I don't know, it's not a parody, but it's not even like the movie. The first Joker is like pretty good. Like, it's pretty solid, and you know, you can kind of see, I mean, if you know more about the comic books and the story of Joker and stuff, and like what they were going for in the first one and then what they're going for in the second one, like, okay, sure, I can sort of understand that you're taking this timeline in the universes and you're going to go with this comic book like story from this, like this lineage that goes over here as opposed to like the one that goes down the middle with Batman, right? I understand that you're trying to go that way, and the ending is like, I don't know, different than what you would expect, but it is also just sort of like okay, so now what are we doing? Like, we're changing direction all of a sudden, and like I feel like it was just a lot of it was doing things for the comic book sake, just for the sake of doing them, so that you could be like, well, we're planning on making all these connect, and we like, I don't know if the plan was to go to Robert Pattinson, or there was a lot of talk online that it would secretly connect to the Nolan verse because the blah, 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 but it just seemed like so much of it was like, I mean, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, is like so much of it seemed like it was somebody who doesn't know the comic books but knows the character, just like making the character do stuff, and then also has Lady Gaga singing a bunch. So it was pretty awful, and I said to Greg in the theater, I'll never forgive you for doing this to me, and he said, I'll never forgive you for letting me do this to you. So we were both very unhappy with it. I think Dan said he didn't hate it, but he didn't actually say what he liked or didn't like. He just said, I didn't hate it. I don't think it's the worst movie I've ever seen. I mean, there are way worse movies, but it was boring and it was annoying and like irrelevant. Nothing in the plot and the story, like, it felt like it wasn't going anywhere at all. And it was going in no direction. And then you get the ending and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, all of this for that? Like, gee, I'm glad I spent money on this. Yeah. So that's my review of Joker Folie Dew or whatever it is. And I guess that's all I got right now. At least I was a little bit more prepared this time than I was last week, where I didn't think I was going to do one and didn't know what I was going to do. So, like I said, you greedy pigs are going to get a next episode on Friday. That will be me reading a story I wrote, and I will be a lot more focused, and it'll be a lot nicer to listen to. There will not be a lot of pauses and thinking and breathing and trying to fill time. It will be a straight up me essentially reading the story to you. I'm not sure how long it'll be, because right now I've written it and it's super long, but you're greedy anyways, and so I'm just giving you more stuff. So follow me on social media. It's all in the link below if you want to help me out with stuff. PayPal.me/AaronSwapos. And I don't know if I have anything else important to tell you. Hockey season starts on Tuesday. Tonight. Tuesday. I guess last night, because you're listening to this on Wednesday. So hockey started last night, and can you believe that they scored 38 goals in one game. Crazy. So there'll be some hockey talk going forward on other episodes. I don't know if I'm going to do, one spooky thing here and then one hockey one here and then one regular one here. And then, I don't know. I guess you're just going to have to keep tuning in to find out what I do, because I'm a slippery little snake, and you never know where I'm coming from. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, and if you're listening to this on another day, you've done this wrong. And I hope to keep hearing from you in the future. Why am I talking like that? I don't know. Good night. I'm going to go play NHL 25 until about 1 a.m. and then regret it.